so much for coming up and for being so brilliant at analysing what's happened over the last 24 hours. We love watching you race, Keely, and it's always a treat. So good luck for the rest of the season, and we'll see you in plenty more championships. Steve Cram and Colin Jackson will take you through the 400. Sorry, Steve, you've just missed Henrik's there. Apologies.
Yeah, so she is in the race. I'll talk about that in a second, because we really want to introduce the main contender. We just missed one of them as well, Manuel, who, the 21-year-old, who's a new world indoor champion. But Jæger has beaten every single one of the other main contenders here this year. But this is a championship race. Jæger is the warm favourite, but Bukowiecka won the title 2 years ago, and in qualification for this looked back to her very best, as indeed did Lieke Klaver, running as quick as she was doing in the Olympic year in 2024. She's all Dutch woman in fine form. Yemi Mary John has done very well to make it through to this very high standard. Finalist having the best season of her career. Tonette has had a busy time, the Belgian athlete, who actually took part in the 4x4 heats as well, even though she qualified for the final, which others were arrested for that. As you can imagine why, because they've got this final today. Most of these will be back in their teams tomorrow in Sevilla on the inside. So yes, for Charlotte Henrich, the 9th placed athletes from the semi-finals are asked to come down to warm up, and she wouldn't have expected to race, but sadly Amber Anning has had a hamstring problem in warm-up and therefore has had to withdraw. So Charlotte gets a chance here, just 19 years of age, coached by Nigel Stickings, who's doing a fantastic job with her. What an opportunity for the youngster. But it'll be Manuel, the 21-year-old from Czechia, who will be chased by Jæger and Bukowiecka and Klaver. Those 4 athletes, I think, are going to give us a great race here. So where they go? Klaver normally will get out quickly. Jæger has said, I need to be better over the first 200 metres. And Manuel has started quickly, this incredible talent, the 21-year-old who trains with the same group as Klaver in Holland. So Czechia hoping they can get their first medal of the championships here. And she's gone well through that first 200. Klaver not up with the others. Bukowiecka started quickly. She normally finishes like a train as well. And Jæger is there. This is a great race so far. Manuel can bring it home. Klaver has got a bit of work to do to get up to these top 3. Bukowiecka and Jæger is so strong, and the Norwegian athlete starts to come away. And she is forging on. This is amazing from Jæger. She's left them all trailing in a way. This is going to be pretty quick. Jæger takes the gold, 49.04. Bukowiecka ahead of Klaver. Czechia's weight will go on for a medal. Well, I think they all went out so hard through that first 200, and Jæger stayed strong as she has been all season. We saw quicker times in the semi-final than we've seen for many of these finalists here. Well, she was the favourite, Colin, but we just thought the others, what we saw yesterday or 2 days ago, they might contend here, but they couldn't hang on to her at all.
Yeah, we wouldn't have said she's a red-hot favourite. She was just a hot favourite in that sense. We know she's beaten everybody in this race this season, as you mentioned, Steve. But one of the things I made a couple of notes down the first one, I remember thinking to myself, man, she has to go off a little bit harder than she has done the rest of the season if she's going to contend. She did that. She committed herself. But unfortunately, she just didn't have the legs to hang on this particular time. Maybe one race too much that she did a little bit too intense. That is the nature of championship running. While people like Lieke Klaver, who we normally see when she was in her younger days, used to go off, blast off and not be able to maintain it, she ran a more steady race and she's rewarded with that bronze medal. But it was a great competition. I said to our statistician, Mark Butler, that potentially we'd see a sub-49 because the talent is here. But Jæger, she was so strong, wasn't she? She absolutely pulled away, destroyed the field in the last 80 metres. Look at that distance, and we would have never guessed the victory would have been that substantial.
No, over 1 second. No, exactly 1 second, Colin, sorry. And that would be unusual at this level. She has been the best all year and rewarded with an incredible performance there, given how the race panned out, as you said. So, a national record as well as a European lead. Well done. Norway have had, the last few years for Norway, do you go back 10 years and Norway had hardly any anybody doing anything. It's amazing, isn't it?
I know, and now we're talking about Norway being successful in sprints. Of course, we saw them in distance running, in javelin throwing, in high jumping. They've had everywhere. Now they seem to be magical in the sprints as well, which is good to see. You know, a complete nation doing complete things. A really good victory for her, though. I mean, when she came off the bench, Steve, you could see she really meant business, wasn't she? When she was younger, we used to watch. Say she was younger. She's only 23 now, but she seemed to have been around such a long time on the circuit and producing performances time after time where she committed herself, gone out hard, and run good times. But now, this stage, she's become an absolute champion, and it is wonderful to see. Now it's just to see where her career goes from here.
Men's javelin final, and Julian Weber comes in as one of two